Joining me on the program now from CBM, Murray Sheard. Murray, kia ora. Thanks for joining us today.
Kia ora. Hello, Sir Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well indeed. Now, the topic that we're talking about today, I gave a little bit of a disclaimer on this one beforehand. It's not for the squeamish. This is a pretty serious medical condition that affects some mums, particularly when they don't have access to the medical care we have in New Zealand. The topic is obstetric fistula. Murray, first of all, can you describe for the audience, those who don't know, what are we talking about here?
Sure. Well, firstly, happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
Yeah.
So for some mothers, especially in Nigeria, motherhood is even more difficult than it is for a lot of people. They start their motherhood with a thing called obstetric fistula, which is a terrible, terrible affliction where the baby has been caught stuck pretty much in the birth canal, and what it's done is it's pushed onto the wall between the birth canal and the urinary tract, and effectively caused a hole. The cells die, and there's a hole there.
Wow.
So the mother gets out. Hopefully she has her baby live, but of course in Nigeria it's one of the most dangerous places to have a baby, so that's not always the case. But in particular, she comes home and then realizes that she's leaking urine, and she continues to leak urine. It's something that just doesn't go away by itself. Now you imagine the shock of that. Her husband sometimes can't handle that and leaves, but generally she is pushed to the excluded to the edge of the village. Sometimes they have to go and live in shacks outside, which of course drops them right into poverty as well. So it's just a terrible, terrible affliction of shame and stigma. Yeah.
I mean, this is a terrible condition, and one I know that CBM has had programs for many years helping women in this situation. I understand you have had the opportunity to visit some of these programs, some of the clinics that are helping these women.
That's right. So the really good news is that there is help for these women that suffer from fistula. I did visit a couple of years ago, and so just on the outskirts of one of the major cities. And there's a community there that is served by our program, and a lot of the women who really hadn't known that there was any way that this could be solved at all, and they've heard a radio program, which interestingly is funded by Caring New Zealanders.
Wow.
Incredible, half a world away. Caring New Zealanders funded a radio program where they heard that actually there is a hospital funded by CBM where they can have their fistula repaired. And so I met a number of women. I'll talk about one whose name is Gloria. She basically came to us after about 2 years of having fistula, with all the shame associated with that. She had her surgery, and she was just bubbling over with joy when I talked to her. And she's now a community advocate. She goes village to village to make sure that other women don't suffer from this.
This is amazing work that's being done in this place, because, I mean, like you say, yes, there's a medical aspect to it, but there's a social component as well.
Absolutely.
That the healing is more than just the medical. In terms of the procedure that's required here, Murray, is it a complicated or expensive procedure?
It can be complicated, but most of them are not, and no, they're not particularly expensive. And so New Zealanders through CBM actually contribute to fistula surgeries every year. And like you say, yes, the healing is more than just physical. We also realize that, of course, they've often fallen off the employment track. So there's follow-up employment opportunities and training that's given as well, and they're basically helped to be rehabilitated back into their community.
Wow, that is absolutely fantastic stuff. And I mean, like we mentioned beforehand, where it's Mother's Day this coming weekend, what a wonderful opportunity for people that are listening in for this, that are watching this, to be able to say, hey, here's something that I could do to help mums in a different part of the world. Yes, hey, handmade cards and breakfast in bed all round here in New Zealand, and do what you need to do. But perhaps as a family, a wonderful thing to be able to say. And also, as part of celebrating Mother's Day, we're going to help a mum in Nigeria to be restored to her community. What a wonderful thing to be involved with, and something they can do through the CBM website.
Yes, absolutely. So cbmnz.org.nz or 0800 7722264. And just to give an example, I met a woman there who'd had a fistula for 60 years.
Wow.
And she had just had it fixed. But I met another one who had been caught within a few months. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what the opportunity is for people to move it so that these women do not suffer for years, but they're caught much, much earlier and can be restored to their families and and look after their children in a way that doesn't create shame. So CBM. So it's cbmnz.org.nz.
And I'm loving the way that you're doing. Yes, the surgery is so important, but also the work that you're doing in terms of education with the radio programs, well, both here and in Africa, but also community workers who are making sure that women know that they're able to receive this help, that all-around care. And, of course, if people wanted to contribute to this work, a particular appeal for Mother's Day for the women of Nigeria, the CBM website, cbmnz.org.nz. Murray, thank you so much for what you do. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.